I'd like to thank the president of the University, Ambassador Umberto Battani, and Professor Celli, Dean of Students, for their invitation. I have prepared a talk, but in fact, I can't talk the talk. I'll have to read it. Professor Celli gave me 45 to 50 minutes. If I read it, it'll be possibly 50 minutes. If I talk it, it'll be 150. And he'll be mad at me. Probably throw me out of this place even before. So I shall read it. Also because I've got a lot of quotations that I don't remember by heart, like a good actor, and so I have to read anyhow. To embark upon the understanding of an important area of the world's cultural heritage, as the great civilizations of Asia are, is not only one of the most stimulating intellectual and emotional adventures into some of the highest expressions of human values, but it is also a spiritual obligation for any member of Western society and tradition. The reasons why are of different nature, and their urgency beyond any possible doubt. They go from the high aesthetical level of Asian art to its ever more meaningful presence in Western culture. A presence strongly felt from the chinoiserie in the 17th and 18th centuries down to mid-19th century Impressionist love for Japanese prints, and up to the contemporary undisputable necessity of a deeper encounter with Asia in an open and constructing way. And in considering such exchange, one should never forget that art represents one of the cultural vehicles that most directly facilitate the understanding and acceptance of anything diverse from us. Fosco Maraini, one of the greatest Western ethnologists, scholars, and travelers of Asia, in his celebrated Secret Tibet, interestingly prefaced by Bernard Berenson, the American giant scholar of Italian art history, stated, I quote, "To study and to love the Orient does not imply a conversion or a rejection of our civilization. Glory of the Western world is science. Not only science of nature, as usually implied, but, in a much wider sense, understanding the world around us. It is only fair that the West dissects the East, as it dissects the concepts of law, good, time, dicotyledonous phanerogams, and the chemistry of stars. In so doing, it asserts itself and acts in a perfectly coherent way. However, each time it attempts to change its point of view and to peer at our universe with eyes that do not belong to it, there comes the betrayal. Europe is Leonardo, Cartesius, Leibniz, Bach. The world has thought as a cathedral, as well as it is Cervantes, Tiziano, Shakespeare. The world has strength, color, passion. But in all aspects, it is a world conceived as an explanation. West is centrifugal. It exists in a dynamic, unstable equilibrium. East is centripetal and consistent. End of quotation. East and West, therefore, appear to express two different conceptions of life and are complementary to one another. Thus, they need to confront each other with their reciprocal values. In the West, one usually tends to refer to Asia as the repository of spiritual life. Relationship with her appears to have been more intense during periods when the Western world was more oriented toward material welfare. It is interesting to note, however, that in such periods, the West tends to refer to the Eastern world in every aspect of its cultural forms, not only the religious and philosophical ones. It so happened at the end of Greek civilization with Alexander the Great, and in the late Roman Empire, when the Western world absorbed several Eastern religious cults. Later on, during the Middle Ages and with the crisis of the Holy Roman Empire and the feudal system, when the Crusades were launched, again at the time of Enlightenment and the Jesuit missionaries in China, and more recently, at the time of imperialism and in the present era of globalization. Of course, there is often a military aspect involving these movements. It is evident that the very search for welfare, which also stimulates a strong attraction for the values of Asian civilization, is also coupled with events or tensions generating wars and economic exploitation. As a result of such encounters and East-West influences, it is interesting to note that in all these epochs, and even more in the present one, we often take cultural phenomena and forms of behavior that are characteristic of Asian societies as evidence of sensibilities and attitudes that were once alien to us, but have now become our ways of seeing and constructing reality. One example. We have been accustomed to appreciate a single, isolated painting, and we expect it to be given all the necessary space to be enjoyed in the best of ways. This approach is not part of the Western cultural tradition. We were instead familiar with the quadreria, the thickly arranged array of paintings on a single wall, characteristic of Western palaces and manors. Appreciation of a single work of art, separated from all others, does not belong to our culture, even though today it seems not as fact. It is in reality an East Asian influence, where art contemplation is often, if not always, a private, intimate, occasional event.